Welcome to The Authentic Spiritual Journey, a weekly podcast featuring real and practical spiritual conversations from diverse perspectives here on the Experience of the Soul podcast channel. Today, episode 234, Spiritually Guided Giving. And now your host, Reverend Cynthia Alice Anderson.
Hello, friend, and welcome to the Authentic Spiritual Journey. My name is Cynthia Alice Anderson. I'm the host, and I'm here today in my home studio. Welcome to the show. It is so fun to be doing the holiday shows, and I welcome you into this beautiful holiday season. And of course, as always, my prayer for you is goodness and hope and peace and joy, and just wishing you all the best during this season. I have really enjoyed, too, this last couple of shows. And last week, we were talking a lot about intuition. And I love to work with my intuition on the journey. And I hope you've been working on it since last week. The title last week was Intuition in the Holidays or something like that. For some reason, I had a hard time remembering that show title. But it was about learning to tap into your intuition and to live from this higher awareness. What we had said last week is that as you begin to work with your intuition, you're going to live from more joy, certainly more spiritual awareness, and less from ego, right? So this is the idea. So the show title today, show 234, is Spiritually Guided Giving. Spiritually Guided Giving. And this is fun. This is fun for me every year. The idea is that you will use your spiritual practice as you walk through the world. So often when we think of so often as we think of religion, I should say, we think of a list of rules and regulations. My belief is that the spiritual journey should be one of joy, one of peace, one of love, and frankly, soul freedom, right? So rather than thinking of working with your intuition as a have to or as a need to, think of it as a joy to be able to move past the intellect and into the soul. When I'm speaking of intuition, I'm speaking of living from the soul. Working with your intuition is working with the soul rather than the conscious mind. So we are seeking to live from this higher awareness. And I said last week, first of all, that to live from intuition means you're probably going to have to spend a little time in quiet to get centered. I also mentioned that as you learn to work with your intuition, you're going to be more able to drop into the present moment quickly and hear that inner voice within in a little bit easier way. It's pretty important that as we move forward on the journey, that we're seeking more and more to live from our soul rather than our personality. Or like I will often say, just the intellect. Just the intellect. And the reason I'm saying this, I wanted to slow down this idea this week because last week was kind of a broad brush stroke in thinking about intuition in general. And today I wanted to apply it to a real specific thing that probably most of you are doing, which is either making or buying or preparing to give gifts. So spiritually guided giving is about working with your intuition on what is yours to do, when and how to do it as it relates to gift giving. So I think this is a lot of fun because it's a great way to practice working with your intuition. And as I said last show, no one gets hurt in the process. So how do you do this? Well, what I do is I get up early in the morning, especially when I know there's a lot to do in a given day. And I start the day with simply a deep breath, my cup of coffee, which I have here, my cup of coffee. And I start to breathe a little more deeply. And sometimes I'll make a list, what I think I need to do today. And then I say, Spirit, what in this is important? Of all these things I need to do, what is important for me to do today? And I wait. And the morning pages process, if you don't have that, I'm happy to get you one of those. You just go to my website, cynthiaaliceanderson.com, and order those. They're very inexpensive, and I'm happy to get one in the mail to you. But every day there's a section of the morning pages called Daily Task. And it really has helped me during the holiday season to use that, because I know I'm just going to tap in and know exactly what's mine to do for any given day. Well, last show, I mentioned to you that for me personally right now, I'm not using the morning pages. So what I'm doing is simply listening, sensing, feeling, and then moving forward. So you certainly are open to doing, it's great for you to do any of those things. But if it's new to you, sometimes the practice of the morning pages helps you get clear, and not not think you can do more than is really possible in a given day. I hope this is making sense, what I'm saying to you. I'm just in a little bit different process right now. And again, my process is feeling, it's knowing, and I'm not moving until I get a real sense of what's mine to do. I'm not going to write down my list for the day or go to where I'm supposed to go till I'm super, super clear about what that is. And if it's bringing me a great deal of stress, the answer is no. The answer is a no. So what I've noticed runs the holiday season so much is this feeling of have to and meeting everyone else's expectations. So let's think about that for a moment while I have a sip of coffee. So what if this holiday season was not about others' expectations? And what if the holiday season got to be about for you, bringing more joy, more love, and more peace into your life and therefore into your world? Think about that. Last year, my son and I were going through a time where there was a lot going on at school. I had a lot going on with work, and it seemed like overly stressful. And I looked at him and said, what if we could just have a stress-free Christmas? And he was like, oh, that sounds great. So I'm not sure if it was 100% stress-free, but what it was is more peaceful. What we were able to do is laugh more. What we were able to do is realize we didn't have to go get 3 more things necessarily at the store, and we didn't have to go into debt to have a beautiful Christmas. We made things. We were more present. So think about that. What is going on for you this holiday season? How can you bring your intuitive nature into the holiday season in your gift giving? How can you bring your intuitive nature into less stress and moving out of those expectations? There's a joke we often will say at church where if the season's starting to get really stressful, I'll start singing out loud, it's the most wonderful time of the year. Right? It's supposed to be the most wonderful time of the year, not the most stressful time of the year. And one of the ways we heal that, one of the ways we work with that is listening to our inner guidance. It's working with our soul on this. It's really, really fun if you can start trusting and working with your soul, because here's what happened to me the first season I tried this. And I apologize if you've heard this story before. I have to remind myself of it every year. But the first year I tried this, I had a list so big and there were so many people I was trying to buy for. I was totally overwhelmed just even thinking about going to the store. I was overwhelmed thinking about all the people that I was going to try to contact and all the cards that I thought I had to send. Right? And so it was like, okay, what is really important? And I thought, okay, I have to get something. I really want to get this, for this person. I really want to get something for this person. And I thought, and I was making up a story that was going to be hard to find it, right? Like I was like, oh, I can't go here. And what if they don't have it? And then I have to go there. Like I was creating this whole scenario in my mind that was completely unnecessary. And I thought to myself, where do I really need to go for this? And I thought, what if I can get quiet enough that God would really guide me in something this mundane? Like, is it possible to not be totally stressed and have my soul inform me in something like gift giving? Like, is that even possible? And you know what? You know what? It so was. It so was possible. Because as I got quiet, it was like, no, go to this mall. Well, what was so funny about the guidance to go in this certain mall, I'd never even been in that mall. So I didn't know why I was being guided to go there. It was like, go to this mall and go to this store. I went in, I walked in the store, I saw it, I bought it, I was done. Something I thought was going to take hours, all in total took about 30 minutes to go there, buy it, and get home. And I was just laughing that I had spent all this energy wondering about it, worrying about it, trying to figure it out, when all I needed to do was tap into my own soul, my intuition, and say, where do I go to get this thing? And then I started saying, what if I could do this with going places? What if I could ask Spirit what's mine to do? What if I don't even have to consult Google Maps? So this has been a lot of fun for me. And I hope it would be for you, just to start going in a little deeper and asking, what's mine to do? Where am I to shop and do this thing? And is this thing even important? In my gift giving ideas, is this thing even important to this person? So sometimes that's the greater question. One of the years I was really going deep about this. There was some bad weather and I wasn't feeling well. I didn't really want to go out. And I was asking Spirit, how could I get everybody what I wanted to get them for the holiday and it be meaningful? And I got the idea to write these special messages to people. And I got some really nice paper. It's kind of like a nice parchment, a copy paper, right? Parchment copy paper. And I just wrote I don't know if they're spiritual messages, I should say, of gratitude about what I appreciated about them and the gift they were in my life. Well, friends, I want to tell you how that was received, because one person framed that picture, or one person framed that writing. Another person put the writing on their tree and they used it kind of like an ornament. Another person had that writing out in the middle of their table for a year. Someone else said, I'm going to put this away and I'm going to take it out when I need it. Now, friends, I can tell you, I can't imagine any other bought gift that would have been that special to people. And it was my soul that guided this effort. And not only did I do the paper, my son and I had fun because we burned the edges of it. It's kind of a crafty project thing where you take the paper and you burn the edges and then you write on it like you would in olden times. So it looked like, it had been around 100 years, so that was a lot of fun. So rather than going and spending a lot of money on things that wouldn't be very meaningful, I took time and energy from the very place I was sitting and did that. And not only was it a connection with my son, it was a deeper connection with all the people I was going to, quote unquote, buy for. And I got him a gift that lasted for years to come. So I was so grateful I had listened to my intuition on that type of gift giving. Several people said, nobody takes time to even write a card anymore, let alone this. This is like something I'll treasure my whole life. So it's not just about going to the right store. It's about living from the heart. It's about listening to that voice within that's guiding your next steps and how to deepen your connection to God and those around you. So when we work with intuition, Well, I have a dear friend, Lynn Barrett, who says, I work with my soul and my intuition to get answers. And I love that because I do too, right? That our soul is connected to eternity. It is connected to all knowledge. It is connected to all that is. And our third dimensional mind is very, very limited. So basically, when I'm talking about spiritually guided giving, I'm talking about living from the soul rather than the mind. In other words, living from the limitless aspect of yourself and listening and working with that limitless aspect rather than the limited. Rather than the limited. Working with your intuition does give you a deeper connection with life itself somehow, because you start to listen more deeply to nuances. You start to listen more deeply to your own soul. You start to minimize the things that you want in the physical world. Some of you may remember that a couple of years ago, I was getting ready to move. I'd sold my home and wanted to move in a different district that had a great school for my son. And as I was moving, I was starting to look at prices of moving. And I looked around my living room and I thought, I don't want any of this. I think it's time to give all of this away. And, a lot of people said, are you crazy? You're not going to have anything to, go to in your new home. But my intuition was so strong that I had no emotional connection to it. I was just guided to give it away. And what's so interesting is nearly everything. Well, for one thing, my house is full 2 years later. And my whole living room set, someone gave me, a dear friend. My piano, someone gave me. I had given away my piano and I got a piano that was better. So, that was a giving that was, not at the holiday time, but it was certainly a spiritually guided giving where I was just really guided to move it on. And it was beautiful furniture. There was nothing wrong with it. It was beautiful. I gave it to my friend who does my lawn. I gave it to another friend who helps me clean my home. I gave it to, another organization. So nearly everything that I would venture to say, all the main pieces were given to people I know and love. And the piano was given to the new owner of my home. And then I received a piano nicer and better. So this is what I mean about trusting your intuition. Like when I was first thinking about getting a new piano, I said to myself, I really want a grand piano. Even though I'm not a professional pianist, I really enjoy playing piano on my own. I enjoy writing songs on piano. I enjoy playing it with my son. And this piano is great. It's fine. But I've always wanted a grand. So I'm going to release this old piano. Well, I had no idea a friend of mine had a grand piano that he wanted to give away. So he was asking me about my move. And when I told him, he said, well, I have a grand piano you can have. Would you like it? So friends, when my intuition was guiding me to give that away, my conscious mind had no idea about that grand piano. But my soul knew something better was around the corner. And so that's what I mean about tapping in and spiritually guided giving. You're going to be guided in a way that your mind may not always understand. And remember, this guidance should be good. This guidance should be love. This guidance should be good for everyone. And that's how you know it's spiritual. That's how you know it is your soul. Is it good for you? Is it good for everyone? If you think, oh, I'm being guided to do something and it's negative for you or somebody else, that's not your soul. That's always ego. That's always ego. So doing this work of spiritually guided giving basically comes down to, and well, let me say it this way. Doing this work with spiritually guided giving and working with your intuition is ultimately, right, about remembering God's will for you is good, and that there is an aspect of you, an aspect of yourself, that your soul is connected to all eternity, and that its only job, right, is to support you in living a better life, an abundant life, a life on purpose, a life filled with God, a life filled with freedom and goodness and wholeness and love, a life filled with forgiveness, right? So think about, why would you contact the egoic self that is only about looking good and feeling good in the short term, when you can contact your soul and it's going to help you for the rest of your life? So I hope you will do some of this holiday, that you will, tap in and try to see how your intuition can inform your gift giving, to see how your intuition can support your soul movement forward, and how you can begin to trust more deeply this aspect of yourself. Friend, your soul aspect is the aspect that has always been with you. It's there when you go to bed at night. It's there when you get up in the morning. It has guided you and been there with you since before your birth. And it is the one thing you will take with you. Your soul is your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, your ideas, all rolled into one. And that soul is connected to spirit always. It is the eternal aspect of yourself. So my hope for you this season is that before you make a purchase and just run out and buy a bunch of stuff, you'll consult your soul. You'll tap into that intuition. And, take time to get present. Take time to get present. Be still for a moment. Be still. As you get still, let your soul help you prioritize what's yours to do, when and how to do it. Listen to that voice and follow it. And follow it. So important to follow that guidance of the soul once you receive it. So the title of this show today is Spiritually Guided Giving. Well, as you are guided, it is important to move forward, because if you don't move forward as you're receiving the guidance, I've noticed the guidance doesn't come as often, right? So it's like developing a muscle, right? You're developing your awareness and your practice of your intuition every time you follow the guidance. So when you know what's yours to do, move forward. So as I said, take time to get quiet, get that guidance. And sometimes, make a physical list so you don't forget what's important. Make a physical list. Put it on your phone or write it down analog style, like I do, with a pencil and a piece of paper and everything. So, and then follow that guidance. Follow that guidance. And then the work becomes seeing, how did you do? Right? And you'll know by the affirmation you receive from the universe. You will know if you were tapped into spirit with how you feel in the process. You'll know by the affirmation from the universe, by how people respond to those gifts, by how you feel getting those gifts, right? So friends, really take the time to tap into your intuition. Take that time. Take that time. And I want to encourage you not to go into debt this holiday season. I want to encourage you not to go into debt, but to, if there's a struggle financially there, ask for guidance. How you can give a meaningful gift without going into debt. Ask for guidance. Consult your soul. Don't go into debt. Ask your soul, what can I do, or what can I make? Or how can I make a gift for this person? Maybe you can play a song or perform a duty, or, offer to clean somebody's house, or take them out to lunch. Or I'm a big fan of coupon books, right? This is good for one fun day together. This is good for, think about how you can get creative, work with your soul to not go into debt, right? Work with your soul. And remember that God's will for you is good, friend. God's will for you is good. So as you are developing this work with your intuition, as you're seeking to do more work with your soul and you're following your inner guidance, remember to ask, is it good for me? Is it good for those around me? Get quiet. Make that priority list of what's yours to do, when and how to do it. Then follow that guidance. And then look for the affirmation of the universe. Look for the affirmation of the universe. Yes. Be in dialogue with the universe about what's going on. What is the feedback you're getting? Don't go into debt. Get creative. Work with your soul on, how can I give this gift? How can this be a gift of meaning? How can I bless somebody and still be of service to my own soul. This is so, so fun and so important. I hope, friends, that you are seeking to have a meaningful holiday, that you will take time to remember the gift of the Christ, the gift that is love and freedom and hope and joy and peace. My hope is that you will be a light to your own life, to your family, to those you love, and even as you're out shopping and doing what it is you need to do. Take a breath, keep being patient, and move forward as you are guided. So my hope for you, friend, always is a beautiful day, a beautiful holiday, a beautiful life as you seek to know and live God's will for you, remembering God's will for you is good. So I thank you for joining me today, friends, for this fun show, Spiritually Guided Giving. I thank you for your financial support as we are in our campaign of $9,000 in 90 days. And I thank you in advance for all the ways you support our show and know that we're honored to support you on your spiritual journey. So blessings on the journey, dear friend. We'll see you next week.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of The Authentic Spiritual Journey here on the Experience of the Soul podcast channel. This channel is made possible because of listeners just like you. If you would like to support the channel with your tax-deductible contribution on an ongoing basis or through a one-time gift, head over to experienceofthesoul.com/support. The Authentic Spiritual Journey is copyright 2022 Cynthia Alice Anderson, all rights reserved. Our theme music is composed by Dave Croft and used with permission from RR Hot Publishing. The Experience of the Soul podcast channel is a production of 818 Studios.